Hi, everybody. Well, we did it. We made it to the last day of the month. We made it to the end of September. Today, here in Tampa Bay, it is the first day we are all excited about wearing long sleeves. Okay? I even have pants on. So it's a nice way, a refreshing way to walk into a new month where we will, again, be talking about mental illness as October honors Mental Illness Week. And we'll be having more guests that will come on and talk about mental health, mental illness, suicide prevention, addiction, alcoholism, and all the things that surround mental illness. So, why am I talking to you by myself today? Well, this has been a month, Suicide Prevention Month, and me talking about suicide all month has been rewarding and exhausting because it's been very emotional to think about all of the lives that we've lost through the years to suicide. I was honored to be on a few local shows on Fox 13 with Linda Hurtado, Good Day with me, Tampa Bay, talking about suicide and talking about what are the things that we could do to help prevent suicide. I just interviewed my parents this past Monday, so if you want to go and watch my beautiful Irish parents talk about my attempted suicide, that is available for you to watch. So I almost wanted to end this month like just as a moment of silence, my own moment of silence while I'm talking. But I almost envision like just flashing all of the faces of all of the people that we've lost tragically to suicide. And a lot of people learning about not saying commit suicide and saying died by suicide instead, because commit sounds more like committing murder. And I have learned so much about mental health, mental illness, my own mental health, my own mental illness, and how it manifests in different ways through eating, through relationships, through toxic friendships, toxic relationships, toxic jobs. And I've learned a lot about trauma. And I think that if I were to summarize all of the things that have helped me the most understand about suicide and suicide prevention and suicide awareness, is that we have to normalize these conversations. We have to be willing to talk, which is sometimes the most difficult because, every 5 seconds of talking to you today, my eyes are welling up thinking about the people that we've lost. So, and not just to suicide, but to overdose, to addiction. I mean, literally this morning, my neighbor hit me with somebody that she lost to addiction. So we have to talk about it if we're going to make a difference. It's also a very emotional hangover I'm having from watching the presidential debate last night. And I know I'm not alone in that. There are a lot of concerns about the country that we live in. And if I was still in my depression, I don't know how I would make it through this time. Keep it together, girl. So I say that because when you are depressed, this is my personal experience. When I was depressed, I was so sensitive to everything that was going on in the world. And I was actually more I would feel almost better knowing that there was bad things happening in the world because I felt so bad inside. So today, to protect my own mental health, I cannot, feed into the negativity that surrounds us. And I have to find ways to forge ahead. And I have to stay positive. But I don't have to stay silent. That's for sure. I don't have to stay silent. I'm writing my second book, and it's here. I'm here at the Ring today, my collaborative mental wellness space. That's what I've just coined it today. And this is a list of people that have died by suicide and opioid overdose. And writing about this has been very healing, and very, I'm getting this whole education about what people say before they die and how families feel after somebody takes their life. And I realize, of course, how blessed I am to still be here today, number one. How blessed I am to have the family support that I have. How blessed I have to have my husband and my stepson in this beautiful space I get to work in. But everything that I do today surrounds how it's going to affect my mental health. And it's been that way without verbalizing it for many years. It's been that way for a very long time. It was certainly one of the reasons I moved to Tampa Bay. I needed to leave New York for many reasons, but one being I didn't do well without natural light, without the sun. It fed into the darkness that would seep in when I wasn't able to see the sun. A lot of gray days in New York. Don't get me wrong, I love my New York, but I certainly struggled with those season changes. So to be here and to be able to be surrounded by, I am sitting at a tree right now made by Peter Erday of Erday Designs. And this tree was not chopped down. This was saved and built into a beautiful conference table. And this behind me is tweaked wood and tweaked pine, sorry. And this is natural light because we should be exposed to natural light. It's good for our mental health. It's, one of the reasons working the medical industry, I had a hard time, which I called them lab lights, and the ballast and the lights would flicker and it would remind me, it would trigger me of all of the time that I spent in a psych ward. I never really said psych ward. It's funny because everybody called it a sobering up station because I was going from a rehab to a halfway house. But it was really a mental ward. That's what it was. I didn't know that. Well, I was comfortable listening to everybody scream because I was screaming in the inside of myself. A very long time ago, but it's never far from my psyche. So everything I do has to be intentional. I work out in the morning because that gets me going. And then I meditate. I have a dog. I have a cat. I have a nice husband. I have somebody who doesn't yell. I don't do well with yelling. So I didn't do well watching the debate last night, but that's all I'll do. I won't feed into it. I won't write negative things to people. I won't judge people because of who they want to vote for. I will only do what I can control, which is myself. So anyway, it's been a rough time for all of us. And I hope that you, if you are watching this today, right now, and you are suffering in silence, I hope that you tell somebody how you're feeling. I really hope that you trust one person. For me, it was my therapist. And I want to tell everybody, if they have somebody in their lives that is suffering from depression or suffering from suicidal ideation, ask the question, are you having suicidal thoughts? That's what my therapist asked me. And that was the beginning of hope for me to get better. And I talked about that when I was interviewing my parents the other day. And it certainly saved my life. So we have to be able to verbalize what's in our minds, as hard as it is. Nobody that loves you is going to judge you. And if they do judge you, you need to go talk to somebody else. Sometimes it's not the best thing to talk to our family. Sometimes it's not the best thing to talk to our friends. Sometimes we need to seek professional help. And if you watch some of the shows that I have had this month, you will see the Tampa Bay Crisis Center. You will see NAMI. You will see Celebrate Recovery. You will see therapists. You will see wounded therapists that have suffered from their own issues with addiction and alcoholism and anxiety. So if you're having a hard time, and this isn't helping, watch one of them. So I hope that you are taking care of yourself today, that if you're having a rough day, that you allow it, that you just cry, that you let it out somehow, because we need you here with us. We need you here with us. So hold on, everybody. We're going to make it. We got 3 months left to go in this year. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have an amazing October, November, and December. It's all in your mind. It's all what you tell yourself. So thanks for being here. Thanks for watching the show. And I hope you pass it on to somebody else who think it might help. I love you.
So don't forget, if you mention that you have seen the show or listened to the podcast, Thai Technology, 3 months for free.